Today I'm going to show you one scale pattern that you can use in many ways. Knowing this pattern will give you the ability to play lead guitar and improvise over any major or minor chords in any key. I know I'm making a bold statement here, but if you'll stay with me, I'll prove it to you. And best of all, I'm going to show you why it will be very easy to memorize this pattern. So what do you say? Let's dive in. Now, first of all, this will not just be a pentatonic scale. However, if you know your major and minor pentatonic scales, you're going to be ahead of the game. This will be a 7-note scale pattern that will work as a major scale or a natural minor scale in the same key. I'm going to start with the key of A major, and then I'm going to show you some really cool ways to move this pattern to other keys. Okay, so let's take a look at this pattern. This is going to be a major scale, and then I'm going to show you the natural minor scale. See where my hand position is right here? I've got my index finger on the 2nd fret of the bottom E string, and I've got my pinky on the 5th fret of the bottom E string. This is an A and this is an F sharp. We're going to start with the A, and this is going to be an A major scale. So it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So it goes like this. Once again, we're starting with the bottom E string, 5th fret. We got 2, 4, and 5 on the A string. We got 2 and 4 on the D string. 1, 2, 4 on the G string. 2, 3, 5 on your B string. And then 2, 4, 5 on the E string. So once again. Now that's going to be the A major scale, or you could call it an A Ionian mode scale pattern. So this is over the A major chord. So this chord here, or this chord here. Now we're going to drop down to the F sharp, and this is going to be over an F sharp minor chord. So this is going to be your natural minor scale. So we're going to start on this F sharp note, and we're going to play the exact same pattern. Once again, that's played over the F sharp minor chord. Now this is a F sharp natural minor, or you could call it an F sharp Aeolian mode scale pattern. So the idea is you got the key of A major, but within that you drop down 3 frets, and now you're at your relative minor, which would be F sharp minor. So whatever key you're in, all over the guitar, it doesn't matter. So if you were in the key of E major right there, then you would drop down 3 frets right here. And now you would have your relative minor key, which would be the key of C sharp minor. Now real quickly, I want to show you the pentatonic scales and how they associate with this major scale and natural minor scale. So your pentatonic scale is just a 5-note scale, and you're probably familiar with the minor pentatonic scale. So we'll start in this F sharp and do the minor pentatonic scale. You're probably familiar with that. So if you move to the pinky right here on the 5th fret, this A, now you're doing an A major pentatonic scale. So the difference in this major scale and natural minor scale versus the pentatonic scales, if you're doing just the major pentatonic scale, then you've got 5 notes, so you're missing 2 notes from the major scale. And those 2 notes are going to be the 4th note and the 7th note. So there's your 4th, but that's not part of the pentatonic scale. There's your 7, but that's not part of the pentatonic scale. Same thing here. We missed the 4th right there. We missed the 7 right there. Now that's going to really come into play here in a moment when I start showing you how to play over the chords and really all the cool stuff that you can do with this pattern and moving it into different keys. So let's take a look at a diagram that I have that I created. And what this is going to be a PDF that I created that's all about the major scale and modes, but it really talks about the major scale formula, and it talks about some of the keys and how to know what chords are major, what chords are minor, understand the relationships of each chord, you know, and the number. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of color code it as we go along. We are going to talk about the A major scale. We're going to be talking about the 1 as the Ionian mode and the 6 as the Aeolian mode. So this is your major scale, and this is your natural minor scale or Aeolian mode. So our major chords are going to be our 1, our 4, and our 5. So our minor chords are going to be, we're going to make them blue, the 2, the 3, and the 6. And we're not going to talk about the 7. It's a diminished chord, but we're not going to talk about that in this lesson. So if you want a copy of this diagram, I've got actually a 23-page PDF document. It also shows you like all 5 positions of the pentatonic scales, the Pentatonic Blues scales, and the major scales as well, and the modes. So it's really a great document. If you want to check that out, if you want a copy of it, it'll be a free download. If you would, just in the comments, put free PDF and I'll send that to you. Just comment free PDF and I'll send you that 23-page reference guide. So let's go ahead and walk through these patterns and talk about how we can play over these chords. All right, let's start with the A chord, A major. To the D. To the E. And now we're back to A. So let's now go through the minor chords. So F sharp minor, B minor, C sharp minor, and back to the F sharp minor. I'll have another video that I just recently did, and I'm talking about this same exact pattern almost. What I'm doing there is I'm using the major pentatonic blues scale and the minor pentatonic blues scale. Very, very close to what we're doing here. Again, the pentatonic scales leave out a couple of notes that are not in the major scale or the natural minor scale. So once again, the idea is if you're just playing the A, you're pretty good with just playing that pentatonic blues scale. But when you go to D, you've got to have that note right there because that's the root note of the chord. And then when you go to E, you've got to have this note here because that's the 3rd of the chord. So there's your E, there's your major 3rd. And so the minor chords work the same way. If you're playing this F sharp minor, then it's just like your A. You're good with that blues scale. But what happens when you go to the B minor? Once again, you need this D right here. What happens when you go to C sharp minor? You need that 7, you need that G sharp note right there. Same thing with your E. It needs that G sharp note right there. So that's why you can go back and forth between a major and a minor pentatonic blues, or you can go back and forth between a major scale and a natural minor scale like we're talking about in this lesson. So if you want to check out that recent video that's got the pentatonic blues scales, major and minor, I highly encourage you to check that out. I'll leave a link in the description for you. So now let's talk about a really cool way to move this pattern around. So obviously we've been hanging out in this A right here, and you can see how I'm playing the A chord. And again, it's just, you could just play just these 3 notes if you wanted to on the D and the G and the B string. There's your A note, so your root note's kind of right in the middle. Well, the idea is, say you were playing this open, now you've got a G, and so there's your G note right there. So if you're in this A position, you could just walk up. Now on your 2nd fret, you're in the A position. You can walk up to the 5th fret. Now you're in your C position. So there again, there's your major scale with your pinky right there, which is on the 8th fret, which is your C note, so C major. Drop down 3 frets, you got your A minor, relative minor scale. So with this A shape, we can have our C right there, again on the 5th fret. We go to the 7th fret, now that's going to be a D. 7th fret. We go up to the 9th fret, now we got an E. We go back up to the 12th fret, now we got our octave. Back to our G, and of course, here's our A, an octave higher. So it's real easy to remember, just basically you're putting yourself in a home base position. So if you're here, this is kind of like your home base. If you put yourself here, that's your home base right there. So how do you get to your home base? Well, you can start with that D or that D. You start with that one, you just go up 2 frets, and now you're there. So once again, talking about the home base position, that's the key to really memorizing these patterns. So you can always find your way around the fretboard no matter what key you're in using that concept. You can always come back to whatever chord you're playing over, and you can find the scale pattern that works over that chord real easily just by using this concept. Again, check out my other video because it's almost like this one, only thing it really does break down that blues pentatonic scale, whether you're talking about the major pentatonic blues or the minor pentatonic blues. Once again, if you want a copy of my free PDF reference guide, then just put in the comments free PDF and I'll send that to you. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you. Keep rocking, and I hope to see you soon.